The police showed up at my parents' house on charges I had no idea about.
She is suspected of assault and battery.
Is what the officer was saying. Wait, what? It had been over 10 years since I got married and left the house. I divorced my first husband in about a year. A few years later, I was remarried and lived one prefecture over. The police apparently showed up at my parents' house because the old house I lived in was empty.
Where's your daughter?
My mom, brother, his wife, and my niece were all confused. My mom said that I was married and lived in a prefecture nearby, and the police contacted local police in my area to come to my door. We had come home around the same time that the police had shown up at our door, then suddenly asked me to go to the station with them, so I was surprised. I have no idea what's going on. What are you talking about?
Actually,
This is what he explained. I had divorced my husband because he cheated, but the woman he cheated with was hit in the head by someone, and she apparently saw me, running away, so the police showed up at my house. When did that happen?
it's suspected to have occurred around 4 p.m.
My husband and I looked at each other.
We were watching soccer in Hiroshima at the time.
Exactly. It was definitely the woman lying through her teeth.
Do you have any proof of that?
My husband was slightly irritated from the police officer's attitude.
It was a pretty good seat, so I'm pretty sure we were broadcast on live TV. Yeah, but that's not definite proof.
Wow, what an ass! I was starting to get irritated as well, so I glared at the fat middle-aged officer. My husband wasn't the only one. I had many friends around too, and I'm sure they'll be happy to corroborate my story.
But they're your friends, so they will lie to cover for you.
You could tell he was trying to force me to go without forcing me to go. You don't trust my husband or my friends?
That's not what I'm saying. I just want to talk to you at the station. If you can't come, I'm going to take this as destruction of evidence or evading the police.
He grinned at me, almost as if to intentionally rub me the wrong way. He thinks he knows that I'm the one that did it. I was so mad that I felt like punching him in the face, but then someone tapped me on the shoulder. When I turned around, I saw my uncle who lived in our neighborhood. Apparently, my husband had gone to ask for help.
Oh, come on. She doesn't need to go, right? It's not like you have a warrant or anything. You can't force her to go.
He kept his hand on my shoulder and smiled at the officer. The officer briefly contorted his face before smiling again, and once again being passive-aggressive.
Yeah, of course it's not being forced. But this is definitely the suspect. I think it's just easier for everyone if she comes with us. I see. I think I understand.
My uncle smiled back and crossed his arms.
Police Duties Execution Act, Chapter 2, Article 3. Pardon?
The police officer was suddenly confused.
You do not need to comply with an officer who is forcing you to be detained or otherwise taken against your will. You may also decline any form of questioning. If you're going to break this, I will definitely have to call you out for breaking the law.
The officer was just spewing nonsense after my uncle had just served him straight. My husband and I were both just staring quietly at him.
Who are you? You talk like you're a lawyer or something! I'm an officer of the law!
The officer finally revealed his true self and was ready to throw down with fists brought up.
Ah, you're not a complete moron. You're right. I am a lawyer.
My uncle had flipped his sleeve and shown that he had the badge of a lawyer.
She says she has an alibi. How about you go confirm the validity of that first? If you can't prove the alibi, then you need a warrant. Also... Okay, fine. Sorry. Bye.
He seemed to have given up and scurried away. My husband and I let out a sigh at the same time. Thank you so much! I bowed my head deeply while he patted me on the shoulder.
I was actually about to leave. Talk about great timing. Thank you for always being nice to my kid, too.
My uncle winked at my husband and gave a thumbs up.
I had heard from my wife where you lived. I'm sorry for disturbing you. You really saved us.
My husband also bowed deeply. My uncle laughed and said it was fine.
If you're not guilty, you have nothing to hide. If someone tries to blame you for something again, you can come to me.
My uncle's kind words struck deeply.
Alright, I gotta go somewhere. See you later.
We bowed deeply at my uncle walking away.
Your uncle's pretty young, huh?
My husband mumbled after he was no longer visible. I mean, yeah, he's relatively close to me in age, but why?
Oh, nothing.
He looked a little upset and looked away. What, are you jealous of my cool uncle? He looked away again after I made him look at me. Relax, he's married and has 3 daughters. I was holding in my laughter before patting him on the back.
Really?
Really?
I can trust you?
Oh, come on, you're acting like a girl right now. I hugged my husband tightly. I grabbed his hand and we went home together. The next day, we were able to confirm our alibi from all parties involved, and it was confirmed that the woman was lying. Apparently, she had asked a friend to hit her in the head and called the police to file a false report. She was charged for making a false statement. Serves her right. She did this because my ex-husband had no intention of marrying her. She was also being pestered by my ex-husband's parents and basically just wanted someone to pay. According to the police, she had become furious after hearing I was remarried and flipped the desk when she was being questioned. I had some bad memories, but I felt well supported by those around me, and maybe it was a good experience. However, there was one thing that changed after this.
You're not going to go see him, right? Right?
Oh, come on, he's a busy man. He barely even shows up to family gatherings.
Okay, I trust you.
Trust me. He had started thinking more and more about my uncle, but I was not like my unfaithful ex.
My name is Naoya. I'm a college student. I'm a fairly round man. I was always fairly popular at school. When I cleaned, I would offer up my strength, and they would all rely on me. Swing, Naoya! I got this! In college, I joined the baseball team and was the 4th batter. Strike out! Change! But I always either hit a home run or struck out, and could never really secure a solid record.
Hey, a piggy that doesn't hit anything is just a piggy.
Sorry. I'll swing away for you next time. Ooh, look at the 2 lovebirds! The girl calling me a pig was the manager and my girlfriend, Ayumi. I fell for her and flirted with her as much as I could. It's been 2 years since we started dating. In college, we were Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Pork.
If you don't hit this next one and make it a home run, I'm gonna make you a pig roast.
No, can you at least keep me alive as a pig? Ha ha! Get it, you two! I enjoyed this teasing back and forth. It was the perfect level of fun with some teasing. We graduated college and started living together. We even got married. Erica, you look a lot like your mother. I'm so glad.
Yeah, if she looked like you, I'd feel so bad. Don't give her snacks without telling me.
Yeah, we only need 1 piggy in the house.
No, you mean 1 head, not 1 piggy.
I was blessed with a child and had a wonderful family. However, when my little Erica was about to start talking...
Piggy, I have your food!
Yeah! Hamburgers today, huh?
Where's Erica's food?
It's on the table, right?
I don't think this kind of language is good for Erica. Even after Erica was in elementary school?
Hang on, you're fat and going to the school observation days.
It's my daughter's big day.
What are you gonna do if the kids make fun of her for having a pig for a father?
Daddy, you're not coming?
Ayumi was even more aggressive than before. I knew this wasn't the sort of thing you should be saying in front of your daughter. We let Erica stay at our parents' place for a night, and both went to a class reunion when...
I really don't see him as a husband. He's just a pig that carries me money. And even that money is so little, it sucks.
I could hear her talking shit from a little ways away. She must be talking that loud intentionally to piss me off. Hey man, that's a little too far, don't you think? This is one of my old teammates from baseball. She's probably just drunk. We get along at home. I mean, okay, just talk to me if you need any help. I held back the tears and started chugging beers. I don't know if this is right. The next morning, Ayumi was out because she was hungover. I went to pick up Erica alone.
Hey, did you have fun yesterday? You met your friends, right?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. You need to get along with your friends too, okay? I smiled and patted Erica on the head when...
Daddy, I love you so much.
Her words caught me off guard, and all of my emotions came spilling out. Daddy loves you too! I collapsed and hugged her tightly. She must have picked up on something from all of our interactions. I want Erica to grow up into a kind girl. I mustered up the courage to get a divorce. Ayumi was still sound asleep in bed after I got home. I called the baseball friend from yesterday. Hey, thanks for yesterday. I can't deal with Ayumi anymore. I'm done. Makes sense to me. I was jealous of how well you two got along in college, so I wish this ended better, but leave it to me. He majored in law and is currently an active lawyer. He told me he wishes he could have helped in a different way, but gave me advice. In order to win Erica's custody, I needed to gather evidence. I would record all of the terrible things that Ayumi would tell me. I would also get my old teammates to record things for me at small get-togethers about once a month.
It's not like you can say anything if I do decide to cheat. Ayumi, you're going too far. Who cares? It's the truth.
I would have different people come every time to get more and more witnesses. Half a year later, while Ayumi was staying over at a friend's house, I can't do this anymore. I finally told her about my decision. I'm still her father. I don't want her to hear her own mother constantly berating her father. Ayumi looked at me completely surprised.
What are you talking about, berating? We've been like this since we were dating. It's seriously gross how a pig is arguing back at me.
I pulled out my phone and played back all of the terrible things that she was calling me. I've recorded almost everything you've called me in the past half year.
What? Ew, gross.
This is just a copy, by the way. There's no point in deleting it. I think most people will agree it's well beyond teasing and jokes at this point.
What? Those are all just teases, gestures of love. You're such a gross asshole pretending to be a victim.
Ayumi was trembling, but her words kept going. That doesn't work anymore. I feel bad for being okay with it too. But let's get a divorce. Please. Ayumi must have thought I was joking.
I wouldn't mind dumping you. Look at you, all tough and big.
She was picking fights left and right. Honestly, I was growing more distant by the second. As I pulled out the divorce papers, she basically snatched them out of my hand and wrote her name in a jolly fashion. She even signed it, and then...
Here you go. What do you think? I really signed it. You better apologize now.
She's completely changed into someone who doesn't want to listen to anything I have to say. Thanks. Goodbye.
Huh?
I took the signed divorce papers and was about to leave after grabbing my bag when...
Hey, you're joking, right? Why aren't you saying anything?
I said what I had to. I'm going to go talk to your parents too. I went to her parents' house and explained everything that had happened, along with the recordings. They both agreed that this was way too bad and agreed with my divorce. Afterwards, I started living apart before I actually filed for divorce. I was worried if I would get custody of Erica, but while I was away, she didn't contact me once to check on Erica. That's why I was able to make a long-standing history of us living together. And in several months, I received custody of Erica before officially divorcing her. Before I was going to get a divorce, I figured I would call to report everything, but...
I was waiting for you to come crying for help. I completely forgot about Erica. I was always the most important. Erica stole you from me.
She said something that no mother should ever say. I thought that maybe a divorce was too much, but apparently it was the right choice. Maybe I took too long to do it. I officially got custody and we continued life together. Sorry, Erica. You're not too sad about just living with Daddy, are you?
No, I'm okay. Mommy was always a little scary.
If you do something bad, Daddy is going to be scary too.
What? Then I'm gonna be a good girl forever.
I had gotten along with her parents since I was in college, so I would still send them photos of Erica. According to them, Ayumi still talks shit about me, but they hate all of it. We haven't spoken to each other like regular humans once while being together. There were moments when it was nice because she would spur me on in baseball. I do think that was just cute teasing. However, there are limits, and even more so between family members. Every time she opened her mouth, she would say something terrible. I couldn't be happy with someone like that. Manners even amongst friends. I hope to teach Erica about that when she gets a little older.
I live with my husband and my son. His parents lived nearby and they were really nice to me. Life was good. But there was one thing that was troubling me. My husband was a gaffe prone.
So the other day I went to see my client, but the clerk, she was really fat, and I accidentally said, "Wow."
My husband was a really outgoing person. And he was really smart. He was great at talking to others. He was a really talented salesman.
And she heard me too. I apologized immediately, but it was a close one.
But sometimes he looked down on people. Deep down, he was a nice person. And he was really good at his job, so everyone at work liked him. But once he was out of the office, he was a completely different person.
Apologizing to clients is part of the job.
But he never apologized at home. He didn't have many friends outside of work. But other than that, he was a pretty good husband. He made a decent amount of money and looked after our son on the weekends, so I can't complain. But then one day, something happened. We were watching TV in the living room. They were talking about this famous male celebrity who found out his son wasn't actually his.
Shoma, are you really my son? Maybe we should do a DNA test too.
He said to our son. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What are you saying? Stop saying that!
Why are you so mad, huh? You got something to hide? Shoma, I don't think you're my son, buddy.
Shoma was only 4 years old. He looked confused.
Not your son?
What the hell is wrong with him? Who says that in front of their own child? You're unbelievable. Shoma is your son, you know that.
Why are you freaking out? You're hiding something from me, aren't you?
I had no idea what he was talking about. I got up and grabbed Shoma. That's enough. I'm gonna go put him to bed. Then I went into the bedroom. A few minutes later, I came back into the living room.
I ordered a DNA test kit online. It'll get here in a few days. Looks like you're screwed.
What? Stop being an idiot! You better apologize to Shoma.
What? Why? He's only 4 years old. He has no idea what I'm talking about. If I were you, I'd worry about myself.
I was really sad. I met him 7 years ago in college. He was my first and last boyfriend. I never cheated on him once. And the look on Shoma's face when he said all those things, it was painful to watch. It must have really upset him, and these things stay with you forever. When I was a kid, my uncle did something similar to me. I still remember it like it was yesterday. It took my parents a few years to have kids, but...
This is it? After all that, she'll never be able to marry.
He probably thought I didn't understand because I was just a kid, but he was wrong. How could he say that to his own son? I don't think I love him anymore. When I put Shoma to bed, he looked kinda upset. Seeing him like this made me cry. I can't put him through this again. I knew I had to protect him. My husband's behavior got even worse after that.
Hey, I'm done being your ATM. You better go look for a job. How much money do you have saved up? If we get a divorce, I'm not giving you a dime.
I wrote everything down, and I recorded him every chance I got. The recording was kinda muffled because I always hid my phone in my pocket, but it was better than nothing. Then, a few weeks later, the DNA test results came back. I asked my parents to look after Shoma that day. I didn't have anything to hide, so I wasn't worried about the test results.
Looks like I was wrong. Lucky you. Congrats.
He tried to hug me, but I slapped his hands away.
What the hell is your problem?
Seriously? Unbelievable. You're not gonna even apologize? I'm sick of this. How can you do this to us? I can't forgive you for what you said to Shoma. I'm done. My husband started screaming, but I grabbed my stuff and left the house. He didn't chase after me. I guess it's over between us. Now what? Both our parents didn't know anything about this. When I got to my parents' house,
I told my parents! You made my mom cry! I should have never married you! You're gonna pay for this! You just wait!
his mom showed up a few hours later. What was she doing here? I'm so sorry about my son. I don't even know what to say. Huh? I'm really sorry. Is Shoma okay? She came here to apologize on his behalf. I wasn't expecting that. Look, my husband and I are both on your side. But will you at least talk to him? Maybe we can figure this out somehow. She had a point. Regardless of what happens next, I had to have a serious talk with my husband. So I got in her car and she drove me back to her house. My husband probably thought his parents would take his side, but he was wrong. When I got there, he was crying like a baby.
Why are you guys taking her side? This isn't my fault!
I didn't even know what to say to him anymore.
I was only kidding! Learn to take a joke! And she started freaking out when I brought up the DNA tests, so for a second, I really thought she had something to hide!
What? I never freaked out.
You still don't understand why she's mad at you, do you? What? No! It's what you said to Shoma. Apologize, right now. What? He's just a kid! He can't understand any of this! I'm not apologizing to anyone! Screw you all! I'm sorry. When he gets like this, there's nothing we can do. He's been like this ever since he was a kid. Maybe there's something wrong with him.
I don't care if you were kidding. You can't say that kind of stuff to your son. You get that?
Oh? Why not? Why are you so mad?
Whatever, we're done here. He's your problem now. Goodbye. I got up and left. I knew he was only kidding, so I was willing to give him another chance if he had apologized, but that's never gonna happen. So, I decided to end it with him. Being a single mom wasn't easy, but everyone was really supportive. It's time to move on with our lives. Not sure what happened to my ex-husband after that, but oh well, who cares? Just glad he's out of my life. I'm Maiko. I live with my husband Takayuki and my daughter Sayori. My husband's mother lived nearby, so we went to her house every now and then. But I hated it there. She was just so mean. How much salt did you put in this? It tastes like crap. Oh, sorry. Do you like your eggs with sugar? Yeah! I bet Raika could cook better than you. Raika was her daughter, meaning she was Takayuki's sister, which makes her my sister-in-law, but if she were alive, she'd be the same age as you. She would have made a much better housewife than you. She passed away due to an illness when she was in elementary school. Needless to say, I've never met her. I feel sorry for her loss, but why does she have to be like this? I looked down in silence, not knowing what to say. Just do a better job next time, okay? She said to me, looking kinda sorry. Ugh, I was getting pretty tired of this. And there was more. There was this doll she had, and it was kinda creepy. Hello, Sayori. Say hello to Raika.
Ah, I'm scared!
My daughter was terrified of her doll.
Mom, stop! Not this again! I told you to stop this!
What did I do? It's Sayori's fault. They were always fighting over that doll. The doll was pretty creepy, to be honest. It was really old and dirty, too. Its hair was all over the place, and one of its eyes was missing. Look at that thing. It's so creepy. It was her late daughter's favorite doll. She always kept it by her side, even when she was in the hospital.
After Reika died, Mom kinda lost it, and ever since then, she keeps that thing with her everywhere she goes.
I see. I guess I understand, but still.
Come on, Reika, let's clean you up.
She washed the doll every now and then, but it was still pretty dirty. They wanted her to stop this, but it was her daughter's memento, so they couldn't tell her to throw it out. I guess I'll have to do it myself.
See ya!
Bye, look after the house for me.
Of course. A few weeks later, my parents-in-law left for vacation. They told me to look after the house for them during the day. I knew where the doll was. This was my chance. Let's do this. This is gonna be great.
We're home!
That was fun, but I'm exhausted.
A few days later, they came home. Then, she saw what I did to her doll.
Wow!
Reika!
She started crying out loud. Then my father-in-law came into the living room.
Maiko! Did you do this?
Yes, I did. You like it?
What happened here? Tell us!
I couldn't stop smiling, so I stood up and walked into the other room. Then,
Maiko, did you do this?
her eyes were full of tears. She was holding Reika. She was good as new. Yep, you like it? So I made dolls for fun. It was a hobby of mine, and I was pretty good at it. So I decided to clean Reika and give her a complete makeover. I fixed her eyes and put on some new makeup. She's smiling.
Hey, let me see that!
Then her husband grabbed the doll and held it gently in his arms.
This dress... This was Reika's favorite dress!
That's right! I found some old photos and made it myself. You like it?
Oh, wow! Yeah! Thank you!
A little while later, she stopped crying. Then she said to me,
I knew the doll was getting really old. It made me sad. It felt like my memory of Reika was fading away or something, but I didn't know what to do.
She knew about my hobby, but she always gave me a hard time about it, so that's probably why she couldn't come to me for help.
And, Maiko, you kind of remind me of her. Every time I look at you, I just felt really sad, and that's why I was so mean to you. I'm really sorry.
Oh, I see. I wasn't expecting that. Then I noticed I was starting to cry too. It must have been really hard for her. Well, I better go now. I didn't want her to see me crying, so I quietly left the room. Hopefully Sayori won't cry anymore when she sees that doll. And I hope my mother-in-law stops being mean to me after this. A few days later, we went to visit them again. Sayori was with us this time. My mother-in-law wasn't home when we got there, though. Her husband greeted us.
Hey there! Here. I want you to have this.
He handed me an envelope. What's this? Can I open it? He nodded, so I opened the envelope. Wow, a $300 gift card? I can't accept this. I tried to return it to him, but he said,
Take it. It's for the other day.
Huh? What was he talking about? He asked me to come into the other room. Reika's doll was sitting on a chair. She had a cute little teddy bear in her hands.
So pretty!
I bought the chair and the teddy bear myself. You think it looks okay?
Yeah, it's cute. Looks like he really liked the doll too. I wasn't expecting that.
I used to be terrified of that doll. I told her to throw it out many times. I even thought about doing it myself.
My father-in-law continued.
But I couldn't. It was Reika's favorite doll. We loved her so much. Anyways, thank you for this.
Then he handed the doll to Sayori.
Her hair is pretty!
She loved the doll.
My wife, she's really stubborn, so she probably won't thank you herself. So here, take it. It's the least I can do.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Maybe I'll buy some new clothes for Reika's doll.
Sounds good.
Then, a few minutes later,
Oh, Maiko, you're here. I got you something. Here.
she handed me a box of cookies. These are my favorite! How did you know?
I didn't.
She was so stubborn. Her husband grinned at me. That night, I had a dream. This girl wearing a white dress was thanking me. She looked like a princess. She kinda looked like Reika. Was it really her? Nah, can't be. I called my mother-in-law the next morning. When I told her about the dream, she started crying.
Reika, she always loved to play princess.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I felt warm inside, and I felt really close to my mother-in-law. Glad everything worked out.
This is the story of my husband, who was quite popular, and how he got what he deserved. My husband looked extremely good, and he would constantly flirt with me. I kind of caved and I enjoyed myself fairly well, but after 10 years, things start to get boring. We didn't have kids and my husband started acting peculiar.
My job is to get paid to make someone cheat on you so you two can break up. I'll seduce your wife and make proof of adultery so that you can question her and get a divorce. How's that sound? Yeah, let's go with that.
I guess he wanted to go play with new toys, but that's not a good enough reason to get a divorce. He hired someone to make me cheat.
Your wife's a stay-at-home wife? That's a rarity nowadays. I guess she only goes out for shopping? No, she goes out to cafes with her friends and goes to salons sometimes. She's just usually at home during the day cleaning the house. I see. So let's try to meet up during the day. How are you gonna flirt with her when she's at the house? Shouldn't you make contact when she's out of the house? At first we just meet up a few times, as if it's a coincidence. Then I flirt her down. Most people will just run away if you keep flirting the first time you meet up. I see. You live in an apartment, right? First, I'll just pretend I meant to ring the doorbell to a different room. Don't worry about it. The older women love me.
My husband was apparently pulling crap like this behind my back. Then, one day...
Are you gonna be home during the day today too?
Yeah, I'm gonna go shopping in the afternoon. Why?
I think my package should be delivered either today or tomorrow during the day. So go ahead and accept it for me.
Sure. At first, I was thinking that he had bought some brand that he loved and couldn't wait.
Alright, thanks. I'm heading out now.
See ya! A little while after I sent my husband off, the doorbell rang. Coming! Huh?
Wait, this isn't Yohei's house?
A man stood in front of me. It was some random cheap-looking boy. No, it's not.
Oh, sorry.
When I said no, he just looked at me funny and walked away. Uh-huh. I understood later, but apparently this was meant for me to be more willing to open the door by saying that he was expecting a package. Past lunch, my husband sent me a message to my phone asking about his package.
Did you get the package?
Nope, it's probably coming tomorrow.
Damn. Okay. Can you stick around tomorrow too? You're going to the beauty salon in the afternoon, right? What time?
2 p.m. Why?
I might have to swing by the house because I gotta go make rounds. If I'm already asleep after you get home, don't worry about it.
My husband works in sales, so it wasn't a rare that he would come home after making rounds and taking a break at home. However, he really didn't care if I was home or not. The fact that he was checking on my schedule was odd. Something is afoot here. I started raising doubts about my husband's actions. The next day, the package my husband was talking about was indeed delivered during the day. I was headed to the beauty salon in the afternoon when...
Huh? You're that lady from yesterday.
The guy who accidentally rang my doorbell started talking to me.
Wow, I didn't think I'd see you again. You going out today?
He was smiling at me with a $1 million smile. I knew this sort of confidence didn't happen normally, so I answered. Yeah, I go to the beauty salon right around the corner. Yohei, right? Did you find your friend's house?
Yeah, sorry about yesterday. I was just happy that I could meet someone as beautiful as you, though. Oh, sorry.
What an obvious compliment, but I kept it to myself. Thanks for the kind words for such an old lady. I gotta go, I have my reservation. And I try to leave the spot. Then he suddenly stopped me from leaving.
Can we meet again? I feel like it's some kind of destiny that we met up like this.
Destiny. There was someone that proposed to me once using that word. I just smiled at him and spoke clearly. Sure, I can meet again during lunch. Come here again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I accepted his offer on purpose. Let's figure out what's going on. After my beauty salon appointment, I went home and...
Oh, welcome home! Thanks for grabbing the package for me. You look more beautiful than ever.
He smiled at me, more chipper than usual.
All right, they're gonna think I'm skipping if I take too long, so I'm gonna go back to work. See you!
What is that attitude? I just let out a grin watching my husband leave the house. The next day at the cafe,
Thanks for coming out today.
the kid was acting shy, which was surprising considering what he dressed like. It's fine, I have time. I'm a housewife. Let's just have some tea.
You're married, right, miss?
I just told you that I'm a housewife, and you don't have to call me miss. This is where I stepped up my game. But there are a lot of things I can't tell my husband, like today, of course. I whispered at him. I am actually going to get about 200K from a relative for no reason, but I can't tell that kind of thing to my husband. He's just going to use that for women and booze, so I'm keeping it a secret.
Really?
The man changed his behavior suddenly.
I want to get to know you better. I want to see you tomorrow, and the day after. Why not tonight?
He looked into my eyes. No, I was actually very excited to see you today as well.
Yeah, let's meet tonight.
Okay. That night, I lied to my husband and said that I was going to meet up with my old college friends and left the house. I waited in front of the hotel with the boy in.
Miss, I've never felt like this before. I think you're the love of my life.
He looked at me and told me with serious eyes.
Huh?
Let's both stop pretending, shall we? I know you're in bed with my husband. I showered him with reason while he stood there aghast. You were too suspicious from the get-go. Our mansion has an auto-lock. You do understand that, right? There was no way you could come in unless you push the room number and they let you in, or you have a key. If you have a friend that's friendly enough to give you a key, then you shouldn't mistake the room.
No, but...
I'm sure you just borrowed my husband's spare key, but you were already a suspicious person from when you pushed the doorbell. He just stretched out and looked defeated.
Hey, we're not getting anywhere with this.
He called out to my husband, who was supposed to be nowhere.
Hey! You said that you'd give me proof of an affair!
My husband had an expensive-looking camera when he popped out of the corner of the hotel.
What the hell are you talking about? Helping me get a divorce? You're just some shitty actor who stole money! Yeah, sure. You were following me around and saying I was doing a great job acting. You can't be like that!
I laughed at my husband and his little boy toy acting.
And you! What's that 200K you were talking about?
My husband was now angry at me. Huh? I'm just making that up, obviously.
What? That's crazy! I figured you'd help me out with some money once you dumped your husband!
I figure you'd try to speed things up if I said something about a large sum of money.
Whatever. You should not make her an enemy. You two, have a nice life. Hey, don't leave me here!
He avoided my husband, tried to stop him, and my husband was left all alone. I told him quietly. I knew that you were pretty shitty, but I didn't expect this from you. What should I tell your mother and father?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He collapsed onto his knees and was begging. I didn't know you had such a nice camera. How about you sell it and buy me a new pair of shoes?
What?
After this, you better believe that my husband started listening to everything I had to say.
I'm Yuki. I married my husband at sushi about a year ago. We didn't have any kids, so we both worked. My husband's father passed out years ago, and his wife lived alone. So after we got married, we decided to move in with her.
I've been a housewife all my life. I'll do everything around the house.
she said to me when we moved in. I was willing to help out, but I worked full-time, so that was kind of nice. But then, when I got there… What the? The house was a mess. It was a disaster. When I came here a few months ago, it wasn't this bad. I wonder what happened. So I asked my husband.
Oh, it's always like this. When you and your parents came over a few months ago, they shoved all the junk into the other room.
Oh, I didn't even know what to say. Turns out my mother-in-law couldn't do anything around the house.
Oh, that? I can still use it. Don't throw it out.
But it's full of holes. It took us days to clean up the house. It was a mess. I basically had to do everything around the house myself. I had a full-time job too, so it was really stressful. What happened to the food I made?
Oh, that? I ate it. It wasn't very good. Why don't you just get ready-made food from the deli from now on?
Yeah, you don't have to cook every day. And I like stuff from the deli.
Ugh, seriously? I didn't sign up for this. I was pretty upset, but I still loved my husband, so I decided to keep at it. I'm sure things will get better soon. But then…
Hey, my aunt passed away. We have to go to her funeral,
said my mother-in-law one day. My husband was coming back from a business trip that day, so he was meeting us there. I didn't know how to get there, so I decided to go with my mother-in-law.
I'm gonna go start the car.
I locked all the doors and windows in the house and stepped out, but the car was gone. What the? I was pretty confused, but she wouldn't just leave me here. Maybe she went to the store to get a few things? So I waited. But she never came back. Then I got a call from my husband.
Why aren't you here? My relatives are really upset. What's wrong with you?
What? But your mom, she left without me.
What? Stop lying! Stop trying to blame this on my mom!
My husband yelled at me. Then some middle-aged woman came on the phone and yelled at me as well. I was furious, but there was nothing I could do. A few hours later, they came home. I told her I'd drive from now on, but…
This is my car. I don't want other people driving it.
Yeah, this is her car, so you can't drive it.
Okay. For some reason, they didn't want me driving her car. So I suggested that we buy another car, but she said there was nowhere to park it. But that wasn't true. If she just parked a little to the left, there was more than enough space for another car. I wanted to say something, but… There's no point talking to them. Forget it. Then, a few weeks later, it happened again. That day, she asked me to go to the hospital with her.
I got a lot of stuff I gotta carry, so help me out.
I had the day off, so I decided to go with her. She went in for a routine checkup. A few hours later, we headed down to the first floor to pay the bill. But then… As soon as we got out of the elevator, she ran off. Hey, wait! Where are you going? You still have to pay! But she ignored me. She grabbed her bag and drove off, leaving all the other bags with me. I had all this stuff with me, so I couldn't move. It all just happened so fast. Wait, why did she need all this stuff? She just came here for a routine checkup. I looked inside the big duffel bag she made me carry. There was a bunch of towels and a few books. What the? No wonder this thing was so heavy. Ugh, she got me good. She was clearly doing this on purpose. I took some pictures of the bag and talked to my husband about it. He looked pretty upset when I told him. He went to talk to his mother for me, but when he came back…
I talked to her. She said she didn't do it on purpose. It was just a misunderstanding. My mom, she can be clumsy like that sometimes. Just give her another chance, okay?
Seriously? That didn't even make sense. I was starting to regret this marriage. I started thinking about getting a divorce. Then a few weeks later, she got into a car accident. After that, she didn't want to drive anymore. My husband and I didn't drive to work, so nobody used the car for a while. My mother-in-law loved to go out, But since she didn't want to drive anymore, she spent most of her time at home. She wanted us to drive her around, but my husband didn't have a license. So she had no choice but to ask me for help. A few days later, she asked me to drive her to a home improvement store.
This place is pretty far from the station, but they have the best stuff,
she said to me with a big smile on her face. She made me carry everything for her. She didn't even say thank you. Then, when we got to the register,
Come on, go bring the car around, chop chop!
So I headed back to the car. I was getting pretty sick and tired of this, so I decided to leave her here. I turned on the car and drove home. When I got home, my husband asked me where his mom was. She told me to drive her to the store, but she just disappeared. I thought she went home by herself.
Oh,
Said my husband. So he called her up. Naturally, she was pissed. I could hear her screaming on the other end of the line. But I didn't care. Before he could say anything, I grabbed a beer from the fridge and chugged it. My husband didn't know what to do. About an hour later, she came home in a cab. She slammed the door open, walked up to me, and shoved the receipt for the cab in my face.
This is all your fault, and you left me there on purpose! Pay up, now!
She started screaming at me. So I said to her, "Okay, but you did the same thing to me. Twice, remember? You really think I'm gonna pay for your cab after what you did to me? I don't think so."
What? But I didn't do that on purpose! This was your fault!
Stop lying. You embarrassed me in front of your relatives and left me at that hospital with all your stuff. I'm not giving you a dime. Then my husband came and said,
hey, stop talking to my mom like that!
That's when I knew I was done with them. I gathered all my valuables, packed a bag, and left the house. I grabbed a cab and headed to my parents' house. When I told my dad about what happened, he was furious. He called his lawyer to help me prepare for the divorce. Then he called my husband.
This is partially Yuki's fault. Tell her to come back. She can't leave me. Who's gonna take care of mom when she gets old?
She married my son! Tell her to come back and apologize to me right now! And I want to see my grandchildren already!
There was just no talking to them. My dad hung up on them. They called back, but we ignored them. They left a bunch of threatening voicemail on the machine. This actually made our case even stronger. The courts ruled in my favor in the divorce proceedings. The courts ordered her to pay me back for all the damages. She refused to pay, though. She wasn't giving up without a fight. But then, when her brother heard about this, he offered to pay me on her behalf. So now my ex-husband and his mother were in debt to her brother. Apparently, he was the leader of the family, so she had no choice but to oblige. She got a part-time job as a housekeeper to pay off her debt, but got fired in a matter of weeks. A few weeks later, my friend who worked at the same company told me about what happened. During training, she accidentally set the kitchen on fire. It was quite funny. As for my ex-husband, he kept texting me, begging me to take him back. I ignored him, but he didn't stop, so I asked his uncle to talk to him. A few months later, I passed by his house during work, but the house was gone. Not sure what happened there, but maybe it was his uncle's house to begin with, or maybe he was letting them use the land. Who knows? Whatever. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just glad they're out of my life.
Starting a few months ago, it became a regular occurrence for my husband to take me to his parents' home on Saturdays.
It's been a year since Dad died, and my mom started working part-time during the week. I feel bad because I'm sure she's lonely all by herself, so I want to go at least once a week on Saturday to help out. I feel like she'd be happy too.
I mean, okay, sure. At first, it was a kind gesture from my husband, so I thought I should help, but slowly my husband's attitude started to change. One of the Saturdays that we had gone over, "Miss Emmy, thank you for always coming by. I'll get some tea going for us."
Relax, Mom. If she wants to, she can. Actually, she should make the tea for us. Make mine too.
Are you sure? My husband sat in front of the TV with Mom. This became normal. My husband also.
Hey, where's Mom's tea? Do this for her. You really should notice before I tell you. God.
He wouldn't move at all, but he would just complain. What? I'm not your maid! I couldn't deal with it, so... If you want to bitch and moan so much, why don't you help?
It's just stuff you usually do at home. I never do it, so if I help, it's just gonna take extra time. And it's inefficient, you know? I just don't like it.
Are you really coming at me with that attitude right now? At first I thought it was for Mom, but I realized he's coming to play the I'm a great son character and I'm just his pawn. A few months later, and I decided to talk to my husband after I had calmed down. Hey, we don't need to stay that long every weekend. She was happy telling us about the friends she made at her part-time job, and she seems like she wants to go hang out with them too. I think we can go less, you know?
What? You're telling me you don't like seeing my mom?
No, that's not what I said. I just want to go see my parents some weeks too.
Your parents live like 5 hours away by bus and bullet train. We can't go in one day, so we always go over long breaks. Your brother's family lives nearby too, right? I'm my mom's only son, so I want to see her frequently or I feel bad, you know?
That got nowhere. I lost it. What the hell is that? You don't care about my parents? I was honestly pissed beyond words, but I used up all my energy from work, so I had none left to fight. I just sighed and left to go to sleep. Whatever, I'm going to bed.
What is that attitude? We're going next Saturday!
A few days later, Saturday rolled around. I couldn't hide my frustration. I could only force fake smiles around my mom. Emmy, are you okay? You seem a little off. Oh, I'm okay. I'm just a little busier at work. Maybe that's what it is. Then my husband showed up again.
Hey, Emmy. I want to eat bacon cabbage rolls.
And drops that bomb. Dude, figure it out! I just held back my anger and tried to answer when... Hey, stupid. Mom spoke with a cooler tone than usual to my husband. Please take care of me and make me proud.
Huh? What are you talking about? We're coming by every week to show you how healthy and happy we are. What more do you want?
He just kept yapping away without a care in the world.
You want us to come during the week too? I'm busy, but Emmy can come here every day after work.
What? Hang on. I was about to argue to my husband's terrible suggestion when... Mom raised her voice and said, That's not what I mean! You don't need to come here!
What? Me?
My husband was confused and at a loss for words. You need to treat your elders with respect. I was happy at first that you would come over all the time, but every week? Let me relax!
But I help out around the house!
You don't do shit, you lazy child! You're just watching TV! And you just kept complaining to Emmy the whole time! She was always so kind, so I'd never seen her so obviously angry before. My husband and I both were surprised. Do you not consider the fact that maybe Miss Emmy is tired from work? I am ashamed watching you brag about how you treat Emmy like a slave. You trying to make me die sooner? Mom, thank you. I was about to cry from being so happy. The husband was saying,
But...
and make excuses. She didn't want to hear them. I'm just going to be honest with you. I want to go to a dance class that's open up near the station. If I'm watching you be lazy, I'd rather see that attractive teacher. My husband was completely stunned from my mom's words. You're just doing this because you think you're helping, but you're just doing it to stroke your own ego. If you use Miss Emmy as a slave again, I swear to you, we're going to have problems. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Mom. My husband was scolded to the ground and was upset. Right before we headed home, Mom said, If he does anything stupid after you get home, just tell me. You're always welcome here if you want to come alone, by the way. To me. When we went home, my husband was dead silent and sad. Normally I'd help him cheer up a bit, but right now, I just felt good that he got what he deserved. After that, he would help out around the house and show me appreciation frequently.
Do you want something? Thank you for always working hard for us.
That makes sense because I would frequent my mom's house and I would report back any wrongdoings from my husband. She would contact him immediately and react accordingly. He never really got along with his father, who was fairly strict. He didn't come by often when Dad was alive. Maybe it was because I spoiled him, but he always liked to brag to women. He was exuberated by the fact that his father passed. He's seriously sometimes so dumb. Ah, that makes sense. If there's anything I can help with, just let me know. I didn't expect such a strong ally. Life was always much better now that we were sharing chores around the house. As for my mother-in-law, once you live alone, it's so hard to live with anyone else. She seemed to be enjoying her single life and was telling me about how she was going to start going to dance classes soon.
I'm Hitomi. I'm 25. I recently got married to an older guy. His name was Shinichi. He was 45. He got a divorce a few years ago. He owned a small auto repair shop. When I got married, I moved to his hometown where his parents lived. We don't have to have a wedding.
But this is your first time getting married. You sure?
I'm sure. It's a waste of money. Let's use the money on our honeymoon.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So we didn't throw a wedding party. We didn't even get a wedding ring. He was a mechanic, so he couldn't wear a ring anyways. I never liked jewelry myself, and sometimes I helped him out too, so... But then one night, Shinichi went out to grab a few beers with his old friends.
You're not gonna have a wedding? You gotta have a wedding! Yeah, she's in her 20s, right? You can't just not have a wedding! But she's the one that said so. We're gonna use that money on our honeymoon instead. I guess that makes sense, but still. And no wedding ring? That's just sad. I know! We'll help you! Huh? With what?
Not sure why, but his friends decided to throw us a party. I hate parties, you know that! Just say no to them! I said to him, but...
I tried, but they just didn't listen. My friend Aoki, he already rented out a restaurant for us.
What?
I can't say no to them now. It'll just make things awkward. Please?
Fine. So I decided to go to the party. But then, on the day of the party, when I was changing in my dressing room, Mr. Akoi's wife walked in.
You look beautiful.
Not sure about that. The wedding dress they prepared for me was really dirty. How old is this thing?
I had my wedding at a 5-star hotel, so the dress was really expensive.
Okay.
But look at you! It's not the prettiest dress, but you still look great.
Was she messing with me? I couldn't tell.
I bought a used dress on eBay. Quite an age we live in.
I see. I didn't want to wear this, but it's not like I had a choice. Oh, thanks. I smiled back at her.
Here's your wedding ring.
What? You got me a ring too?
Of course!
Did you buy this on eBay too? I asked her.
What? You got a problem with that?
No, I was just curious. Sorry for all the trouble.
You should be. What am I doing here anyway? I got better things to do on a Sunday.
What? What was she talking about?
My husband said that this was his idea, but I bet you guys begged him for it.
What? No. In fact, I tried to say no, but...
What? You're gonna complain now? What's wrong with you, huh? Ugh, poor people like you make me sick.
I didn't even know what to say to that. A few minutes later, we went into the reception hall. Shinichi was wearing a nice tuxedo, but I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to go home.
Hitomi, what happened? You okay?
Yeah, let's just get this over with. Then the party began. It was a disaster. That's when I realized something. His friends just wanted an excuse to act like idiots. What a day. I should have never come here. By the time we got home, we were exhausted.
I'm so sorry. I know they were out of control.
Shinichi kept apologizing to me over and over again. But then, a few days later...
Hey, Aoki. He's asking us to pay for the party.
What? He never said anything about that. And we didn't even ask him to do this for us.
I know, I told him that, but looks like things got quite expensive.
That's probably because his wife bought me that dress and that ring. I didn't ask for any of this.
You can take some of the money from my allowance. Please?
Why should we pay for any of this? We didn't even ask for this. I guess our honeymoon will have to wait. We had no choice but to pay. Then, a few days later, I met Mrs. Akoi at a town meeting.
Oh, you're not wearing your ring.
Oh, that. I keep it in my room. I don't want to scratch it, so... That was a lie. I didn't even know where it was anymore.
Oh, right, you work at your husband's repair shop too. Sucks to be poor.
Why do you assume that I'm poor?
Oh, sorry, did I offend you?
Actually, yeah. What's your problem? I snapped at her.
Relax, I'm just stating facts here. My husband owns a big liquor shop, so I don't have to work at all. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, lucky you. You must be really proud of yourself.
What's that supposed to mean? You better show me some respect.
She tried to grab me, but the others stopped her. But then, she started spreading false rumors about us around town. She told everyone that we begged her to throw us a wedding party because we were too poor to do it ourselves. Seriously? She bought the dress and ring on eBay. I kept telling Shinichi to do something about this, but a few days later, someone rang our doorbell. Mr. Akoi? Mrs. Akoi? It was Mr. Akoi and his wife. He looked furious.
Hitomi, Shinichi, I heard about what she did. I'm truly sorry. What? Come in. Let's talk inside.
He invited them inside. As he sat down, Mr. Akoi handed us an envelope.
Here's your money back. For the party. For real? Thanks, but you sure about this? What's going on here? Well, she was in charge of the money, but long story short, she was stealing from us. It was all her.
Turns out she was having an affair, and she was up to her neck in debt. So when she heard about the party, she saw an opportunity to make some quick cash. So that dress and that ring?
She got it for super cheap. Much cheaper than I thought. She was lying to everyone all along.
I see. No wonder they were so crappy.
Apologize to them, now!
I'm sorry.
And about the false rumors, too. Apologize.
I'm sorry.
She was devastated. I guess she got what she deserved. They went around town paying everyone back. Then, Mr. Akoi threw her out of the house. She was on her own now. She begged him to take her back, but it was no use. So this is Mr. Akoi's liquor shop. It's quite big. As for us, where do you want to go?
Let's go abroad. We got more than enough money now.
We started planning our honeymoon. Mr. Akoi and his friends, they all paid us a little extra for all the trouble they caused. So now we had more money for the honeymoon. The party was a disaster, but I guess everything worked out. Time to move on with our lives.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!